Picture this. You open an app, tap a button, and a sleek pod pulls up outside your door. No driver, no small talk. It whisks you across the city, drops you off, and disappears. It then charges itself, ready for the next ride. This is happening right now across Austin, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and since April 2026, it's rolling out in Zagreb, Croatia. The robotaxi era is not coming, it's here. But to understand how massive this shift really is, and why thousands of professional drivers are furious about it, you need to understand how we got here. Let's rewind. The taxi industry is over 400 years old. The first taxis on record were horse-drawn carriages in 17th century Paris and London, known as hackney carriages. By 1897, the German firm Daimler launched the world's first monetized taxi in Stuttgart. For centuries, this model barely changed. Drivers bought licenses, learned their cities, and got paid by the trip. In cities like London, cabbies famously had to memorize 25,000 streets to earn their licenses, a grueling test called the Knowledge. Regarded as one of the toughest memory navigational exams in the world, the Knowledge is a test that every London black cab driver has to get through. The taxi was a fixture of urban life, and for decades it looked like nothing would change that. Then in 2009, two guys in San Francisco had an idea. What if you could hail a cab from your smartphone? Uber launched that year, Lyft followed in 2012. Within 5 years, the entire taxi industry was in crisis. In New York City, taxi medallions, the government issued licenses to operate a yellow cab, had once sold for over $1 million at its peak in 2013. A taxi medallion is a transferable physical permit or license required to legally operate a yellow cab and pick up street hails anywhere in the city. By 2018, they were worth $160,000. Drivers who had borrowed against their medallions were financially destroyed. In London, traditional black cab numbers fell sharply. In Paris, taxi drivers blocked roads and set cars on fire. Uber and Lyft created millions of driver jobs globally, but they had decimated the old guards who'd built their lives around the regulated taxi business. And now, it's about to happen again on a much larger scale. Waymo, owned by Alphabet, Google's parent company, is the most established player. It launched its first fully commercial, fully driverless service in Phoenix in 2020. Since then, it has moved on to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, and by the end of 2025, Waymo had served over 14 million trips. Today, it completes 500,000 paid rides every single week. In early 2026, Waymo began deploying its next generation vehicle, the Ojai, which is now tested in Tokyo with planned expansion to London. It's targeting 1 million rides per week by the end of 2026. Then there's Tesla. In late 2025, Elon Musk finally launched his long-promised robotaxi service in Austin, Texas, the Cybercab. A two-seater with no steering wheel, no pedals, dihedral doors, and wireless charging. This began production at Gigafactory Texas in April 2026. Tesla is currently in early stage volume production, with hundreds of Cybercabs per week being rolled off the factory line. The long-term target is 2 million units annually across multiple factories, aiming to expand their services to multiple cities across the country. And from an unlikely corner of Europe, Verne. Founded by Rimac, the Croatian engineer who built some of the world's fastest electric supercars. Verne launched Europe's first commercial robotaxi service in Zagreb in April 2026 at just €1.99 a ride. Rimac's bet? The future of urban mobility is a small, purpose-built pod that you'd never own, just summon. Verne has already signed contracts for Manchester and several German cities. And China is racing hard. Baidu's Apollo Go has delivered over 20 million trips and performs 300,000 fully driverless rides per week with no safety driver. And now it's expanding globally through partnerships with Uber and Lyft operating in South Korea and the UAE. But not everyone is celebrating. History is repeating itself, and the anger is very familiar. In London, over 100,000 workers, black cab drivers and private hire drivers are watching this with alarm. The Licensed Taxi Driver Association, representing over 10,000 of London's 16,000 licensed black cabs, has raised serious concerns about market fairness. These are people who spent years learning the knowledge, paid for their vehicles, and built their livelihoods on regulated systems. Transport for London Commissioner Andy Lord has said TfL could block unproven robotaxis, a cautious stance that echoed how London first resisted Uber, only to eventually allow it. But with Waymo, Baidu and Verne all eyeing London's 146 million annual trips, the largest taxi market in Europe, the pressure to open up is enormous. In San Francisco, driverless vehicles have blocked emergency vehicles, triggered software incidents, and faced organised protests. In China, authorities briefly paused issuing robotaxi licenses in early 2026 following a software glitch. The technology is advancing fast, but not flawless, and the communities that depend on driving for a living are not going quietly. Goldman Sachs forecasts the global robotaxi market will hit $415 billion by 2035, from fewer than 10,000 commercial robotaxis operating today. Analysts project the global fleet will reach 1 million vehicles by 2030 and potentially 6 million by 2035. The current CAGR, compound annual growth rate, sits above 57%. The UK government's own Department for Transport projects that the self-driving sector could create 38,000 new jobs by 2035 in fleet maintenance, software development and remote operation. That's the optimistic view. The harder truth is that those jobs require skills today's taxi drivers don't have, and the retraining gap is real. There's also the threat of further automation, with various robots already in the works to fill these maintenance roles. Even tools like Claude Code are threatening programmers' jobs. The dark side is that almost all of the cab fare money gets funneled directly into the pockets of people like Elon Musk, taking a lot of money out of circulation rather than redistributing it among the society that the service depends on. The pattern is almost identical to what happened with Uber. First the technology arrives in one city, regulators then push back, then adapt, then it's everywhere. Uber took roughly a decade to go from startup to global dominance. Robotaxis may move faster, mainly because the companies behind them are bigger, the investment is deeper, and the technology has been in development for over a decade already. The taxi has survived 400 years of revolution. From horse carriage to combustion engine to smartphone, every time the technology won, every time the old guard fought it, and every time the transition left people behind who weren't prepared. The robotaxi isn't just the next vehicle. It could mark not only the end of the professional driver as an urban profession, but public and personal transport as a whole.